Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Stretford, Paddock. Today, I am joined by the one and only Uncle Webby back alongside me. Unfortunately, not in person. We normally do this stuff outside Old Trafford. But how you doing, Webb?
I'm all good, mate. We were just saying then it's been March since we beat City 2-0, since we was last in each other's company. You know, what a great night that was. And who would have thought what had gone on in the world since that day? You know what I mean? I was looking to speak to you at Tottenham the following week, but this COVID was stopped all that, mate. But it's all good, mate. Happy days.
Happy days. You're doing lots as well. You're keeping yourself busy on your channel. I'm getting loads of comments saying, hey, Webby O'Neill's the channel to be at. I've been watching. So just let the people know what you've been doing. And the sub link is in the description below for Webby and O'Neill's Manchester United fan channel. But what kind of stuff you doing over there at the minute?
Fortunate, Adam, that obviously I know a lot of the class of 92, the personal friends, and if you go onto the channel, you'll see some great interviews with Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Philip Neville, you know, who's in the world out at the moment with the job he's got over in Miami. Other people, boxers, Jamie Moore, Mckola, pop musicians who are friends of mine, you know. Tim
you just
Burgess,
got all your famous friends out there?
Yeah, Tim Burgess, you know, they all love United, these people, you know. If you watch these interviews, you know, Jamie Moore is a philosopher of football. He studies, he goes to the games.
I've spoken to Jamie Moore before.
Great lad. Mckola goes to the games when it's possible. Tim's United crazy, you know, he's followed them all over. You know, it's great, you know, I've been looking at some great interviews, you know, so long may it continue. And I've got another one now with an absolute legend in yourself.
Yeah, and you did one today with Paul Parker.
Yeah, Paul Parks. Yeah, me and Paul Parker go back a long way. We spoke about, have this team got the mentality to win the league? He told us about the 93, that famous night at Selhurst Park, Adam, when Villa played Blackburn half an hour before us, and it's coming through in our little radios. It's 1-0, it's 2-0. And it was great. And I reminded about the video, which everybody's seen, of Sir Alex before the Blackburn game, going around the dressing room. The camera goes on Park and he's half asleep. He sat there yawning, you know what I mean? He's told us about, we spoke about the FA Cup tie on Sunday against Liverpool. So it's all going good, mate.
Wicked. Everyone get over there after we're finished here. Me and Webby are going to talk about a few of the current topics at Manchester United. But the one thing we have to talk about is we're top of the league, Webby. Like, you mentioned it the last time I saw you was at Old Trafford, was that Manchester City game. The feeling leaving the ground that day was amazing, obviously, but we didn't expect to be in this position 9 to 10 months on. What have you made of it?
Adam, it's been hard because a lot of people who know me had an illness in 2018, so it's been hard for me. I'll admit, you know what I mean. And if people want to speak to me, my DMs are open. People who want to speak about, because people are struggling, Adam, you know. It's hard, but the football's kept us going. And I said to Parks before, like, you come in at the Arsenal game a few months back here, we get beat 1-0, we played bad. And who would have thought we'd be top of the pops now? You know, it's all down to hard work. You got to give the manager credit. He's got a system going. People who wasn't at the party then are now at the party big time. You know, people like Paul, who's been absolutely slaughtered. But you take that goal last night. If that's done by Ronaldo, it's all over the world. You know, people are coming to the party and long may it continue. And we're being hated again, Adam. I love nothing more than Manchester United Football Club being hated. That means we're doing something right, brother.
It is, and it's weird to get, like, one of the things I've been noticing, which I'm sure everybody has, but like the opposition managers that are now talking about us. I remember Klopp last season, he was very complimentary of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that's not to say he was disrespectful to Ole this time around. But this time around, there was a lot more focus on Manchester United and this good luck or refereeing decisions that we get and all that. And I've seen it from a few of them, and it usually means you're doing something right, doesn't it?
He's rattled, isn't he? He's got to. This was their era apparently where they was dominating, and you know it's going a bit wrong for him. And I've got this feeling tonight that Burnley can get something from the game, you know, because. You're not going to get me, Burnley. It proved us against last week. They're going to rump it forward now. If they've not got their right people at the back, it's bread and butter for them. They'll love it. It'll be a nice cold night. There'll hopefully be a load of wind and snow. and it'd be great, and I can't wait to watch it. But we're doing something right, you know. It's not just Klopp. It's a lot of managers now who are picking at United, looking at and thinking, well, hang on a minute, these shouldn't even be in the equation, but they are. You know what I mean? And that road to be undefeated for a year on the road, you know, it's like you're saying, we recall that record last night, the great treble-winning team.
Yeah.
You know, we've beaten, you know, and we know Adam, I was quite lucky that year. I went to every game, home and away and in Europe, and it was a great team. Now, I'm not saying this team's as good as it, but they've got that spirit, you know. As long as we've got that spirit and everyone's battling for each other, we're going to be there and thereabouts come April, May.
Most definitely. And I think that record, for those at home that don't know, it's 17 games unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. It's you know, no team since the treble team has done that, which shows you the remarkable record that we've been on. I do think the reason we're involved in a title race is obviously City and Liverpool have dropped off a little bit. Yeah. But when you look at the turnaround, I think it was 30 points this time last season. Yeah. And we're not only like 12, 13 points better off. They're 13 points worse off. So it's a combination of both. But Ollie's got to take a massive credit for what he's doing at the minute. And I think we've got to this position as well. And this is someone I want to talk to you about a little bit later. Where we got like Anthony Martial, Mason Greenwood, you know, they're not performing yet. And if we were to add these guys in and their goals, Donny van der Beek, hopefully to come in soon, like there's so much more to come from us as well, isn't there? Yeah,
definitely. I'm going to name a player now, mate. For me, he's come on leaps and bounds, Luke Shaw. You look at him, you know, and I think one of this reason he's done that, because he's got a player behind him. If he doesn't perform, mate, he's not going to be in the team now, week in, week out. I'm not saying you go to play bad, but you think if you're playing an average game, you're going to be in the team next week. Now, for me, we've got players all over the park now. No, if they don't perform, then they're going out of the team, mate. You look at that bench now; it's frightening. That bench is an absolute class team, and if you're not performing on the pitch every minute for every game, you're going out of it. And then people going about Harry Maguire, he's not doing this. He's been superb. You know, I seen him last night, someone getting criticised that he never scored an header. Well, so what? But you're marshalling that defence. You know, he's not a captain of Manchester United, not captain material. What that kid went through and to come out of it the other side like this, because obviously he got the sending off for England. He was getting absolutely slaughtered. You're not worth 2 and 8, mind 80 million. You know, the bloke's been superb. You know, and then you look at Wan-Bissaka, he's coming on leaps and bounds. You got Bayer, who was an accident waiting to happen. He's been superb. I think that last night was probably not his greatest game since he's come back, but he's been superb. Lindelof coming in at Liverpool. People are stepping up to the mark, mate. That's why we're top of the pops. Most definitely. And I think you mentioned, obviously, Maguire there and the trouble that he had. You said Maguire and Bayer, you didn't use the word Colossus. What's going on there, baby? What is going on? Mate, that's being safe for the French kid who's been absolutely slaughtered. Now, he's not helped himself or his agent. But I'm saying again, you're looking at that goal last night. If that's scored by Ronnie, it's all over the world, mate. It was an absolute great finish with his weaker foot. And I'm not just saying about his goal. You're looking at Sunday. He's being played in a position which he probably doesn't like, but he did a job. Could have won us a game at the end. Was great. You know, you look at other games, a Villa game. He stepped up to the mark because he's playing. He's had to sit in the stands thinking, I should be on the pitch. Well, but Paul, when you're on the pitch, prove how much of a good player you are, and the manager won't drop you. And he's undroppable at the moment. And that goal last night, Adam, it was a great goal. A great goal. It was possibly our goal of the season. I'm probably missing out a few obvious ones, but I thought the goal itself was incredible because the first touch that he had, and then the touch to get it round the defender and the shot, and the way he reset himself as he ran up to the shot, because he kind of remade his run again and changed his angle. I thought that was immense. How much credit does Ollie deserve though for Pogba's form? Because he could have handled this very differently. Of course, he could. He could have kept him sat in the stands, you know, not played him. Probably played him in the cup games. But you know, he's probably laid it down to him. Listen, you're a World Cup winner. We know what you can do. You're having 2 good games, having 10 average games. You take this game by the scruff of the neck, and you dictate the game, and we'll be okay. And I think that Paul's had more responsibility, and I think he's thriving on it. You know, I hope it continues, Adam. You know what I mean? Because we know what a great player he can be. And he's proved it the last 4, 5, 6 games to be that man.
I got a feeling he might sign a new deal with us,
Well, it's up and it's down. I'd be truthful. We had him probably 8 weeks ago. I'd say to myself, listen, if we can get most of the money back for him, we wish him all the best and we move him on. But if you've got a great Paul Pogba in your team and he's firing on all cylinders, you don't want that in another team. You want it in your team, and he's proved that. And like you're saying, long may it continue, and I look at people like Bruno, who seems to have gone off the boil. He's always that threat. He wasn't in the game. He hits the post. He brings a save out for the keeper. He crosses the ball for Cavani. So he's in and about there. But at the moment, mate, he's looking great. We might get a few injuries, a few suspensions. But I'm going back to that bench again. You're an opposing team and you see that bench. The starting 11 is great, but you see that bench and you see the likes of Rashford coming on, and you got Juan Mata, and you got Matic. You've got Donny van der Peek. You've got Mason Greenwood. It's great for the future. So long may it continue, mate.
Alex Telles as well on there as well, who's really pushed Luke Shaw on. And you mentioned Luke Shaw, I think has done really well recently. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets... Actually, let's talk about Ole in a bit, because someone we've hardly got to talk about because of COVID and is Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, we'd only had him for 3 months when I last saw you. People have compared him to Eric Cantona. Now, I think that's a bit too far.
Yes.
But in terms of the impact that he's had on the team, are some of those comparisons fair?
I wouldn't say so much the team, man, and the effects he's had on the likes of me and you. The likes of the kit man, the likes of the brew lady. When he come into this club, I wouldn't say he was on a down, but it wasn't great. And he's just lifted everybody's spirits, For what he's done at his short time at the period of the club, he's nothing but sensational. But Eric was a different person, and the comparisons are going to come. But he lifted everyone, You remember that debut against Wolves and was all buzzing. It wasn't a great game. It was 0-0. He didn't really do anything. But you could see after 10 minutes how he was dictating players. The bonus is he spoke good English so people could understand him. He's telling people where to go. He's seen it the other night. He's telling Mason what to do. And it's only going to be a great lift for the club, So Bruno has been great. You can't play well every game, but his presence is there. And like I'm saying again about last night, he'd done nothing. He hits the post. He pulls out a great save from the keeper and he crosses for Cavani to score. So his presence on the pitch is going to lift everyone. Not just the players around him, the club, the fans, everybody.
And I think even when he's playing badly, his presence lifts everybody else's demands and everybody. He's like, because they know as like on the pitch, I imagine they must get quite annoyed with him, like constantly, do this, do that. Oh, what the fuck you doing there? Like, how dare you do that? And some of the looks he gives players. But I think it's like, again, I'm not comparing him to Keno, but Keno used to have that presence where you didn't want to make a mistake in front of him. You didn't want to let the team down. And I think it's harder for you as a player to coast through a game when you've got someone like Bruno Fernandes in there steaming around all the time, maybe losing his head a little bit when things are going wrong. It's so much harder for you then to just stand around and kind of be passive in that instance, because so he does lift the players all as well, which I think is one of the big things he's done. You mentioned...
Sorry, I look at that like when some of those balls and you get frustrated, but he's trying that stuff. I'd rather someone put a ball, if he's trying to hit a 20-yard ball in between two defenders and it doesn't come off, then knock it back 15 yards and we start again. Obviously, I always remember the great manager, Sir Alex, saying about Ronaldo, he'll try stuff. Sometimes he'll get caught, but sometimes it'll set a goal up. And that's what we want. We want to be attacking, we want to be aggressive, we want to put it onto the other team. And people like Bruno will do that. Sometimes it won't work and we'll get annoyed as supporters and you'll get annoyed as teammates. But when it does work, there's always a goal or something on the end of it.
And even yesterday, when people would probably say in the game against Fulham, he probably had a bad game. He gets awarded the assist for the goal. I thought he was actually not really... I don't think he was particularly bad against Fulham, but I just don't think he was as good as he has been. Yeah. And that's the trouble, because he came in and he was at such a high level throughout the time. If he just drops off a bit now, people are like, well, he's not playing well, is he? Well, he still is. He's still contributing. He's just probably not scoring a goal every game. And that's important, like when you got Pogba stepping forward. you're always gonna, be able to cover for what Bruno isn't doing. Donny van der Beek hasn't really played much, and there's a picture of him going around on the bus yesterday looking a bit glum. I think it could just be a surprise shot, so he's not expecting it anyway. But what have you made of him not really being involved? Have you been concerned? Do you think Ollie doesn't fancy him, or is it just we're taking our time with him?
I just think that if you look at our squad, Adam, it's overloaded in midfield. If he was a fullback, he'd probably played 15, 20 games. It's just unfortunate the position he plays in. The kid's a class player, we know that. He will get his game time. I fully expect him to play and start on Sunday against Liverpool. And his time will come, because we don't wish on, but someone could get a suspension, someone could get an injury, and he'll come in. And I don't think he'll let the team down. It must be frustrating because he's come from Ajax, where he's played him week in, week out. But his time will come, and then next season he'll only get bigger. He'll get used to the standard of the Premier League. He'll get used to living in the country. I've got no qualms. Obviously, he wants to play more, but who doesn't?
I'm in the same boat as well. I would have liked to have seen him more personally, because I think he's a fun player to watch, and I think he's very efficient, and he does some great things at times. And I've actually thought his link up with the likes of Mata, Bruno, Rashford, Pogba, Marshall, etc., has been quite good to watch. Yeah. But I'm the same. I just don't think it's a worry yet, because we've got. If I'd understand it if Ali was doing a Fergie and putting fullbacks in midfield and all that kind of stuff, but it's not that. And I think he's played 21, 22 times for us this season. Yeah. All right, he's not made 21 starts, but that will come eventually. And again, like we mentioned earlier in the show, to have the likes of Donny van der Beek in reserve waiting to go, Matic, and even with the likes of Marshall and Greenwood, hopefully their good performances are yet to come. There's so much more to come from his team. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about that at the minute at all.
What he does, Adam, he plays Sunday against Liverpool, puts in a performance, which we know we can do, and then for the Sheffield United game, it make it hard for Ollie. Well, listen, I put that performance in. You drop me for the Sheffield United game, gets his chance, he takes his chance, and it's another great headache for the manager, but he'll get his game time. We know what he's like. So, like you're saying, if he was playing, say, Wan-Bissaka centre midfield, I don't know, you'd start to worry for the kid's future. Was it a stupid buy? Was it not a manager's buy? But he'll get his game time, mate, and he'll do a job for us.
Yeah, so you mentioned him starting against Liverpool in the Cup. Are you a bit more relaxed going into that one, or you still think the FA Cup's really important for us to see? Are your eggs all in the title race basket, or?
You see, Adam, I'm a lot older than you, sir. So the FA Cup to me was bigger than the league, believe it or not. In my eyes, day out. We spoke to Parks before. People will see it. Walking as a player, walking up those steps to lift that trophy, lift the FA Cup. But it's against Liverpool. It's your enemy. It's the two most successful teams in the country. Now, I've seen some people playing it down this morning, saying, "Oh, forget about that." Listen, Adam, I want to beat Liverpool in a game of tiddlywinks, a game of dart. It's the FA Cup fourth round. I want to beat them, so bring it on, yeah. But then obviously, you look at Wednesday's game, is it more important, eggs in that basket? I want to go for everything, mate. We've got a big enough squad now to rotate. Yeah. So I expect about 6 or 7, maybe 8 changes on Sunday, and then go back to what Ollie thinks is his strongest team and the most suitable team for an hard game against Sheffield United next week.
Yeah, I know you are just about 5 years older than me, Webb, but the FA Cup is it's important to me. Like Paul Parker played in the first FA Cup final, I can remember in '94. Pissing down a rain against Chelsea. Yeah. And the FA Cup is a big deal to me as well. And I think we should be, all right, make 6, 7 changes where, Donny van der Beek comes in. Maybe Dean Henderson gets a start. Yeah. Alex Telles, Axel Tuanzebe. But I think by playing those players, they've proven this season already that they can actually step up. Axel Tuanzebe was incredible against PSG. He wasn't great in the game that followed, I think, against Istanbul, but we know there's a good quality player in there. Tellez has looked good. Dean Henderson's looked good. So I think we should make probably about 6-7 changes to the team, bring in Donny van der Beek. But I don't think the quality of your team suffers much because of the strength of the bench.
That's what I mean. These top quality players, Adam, international players, been there, wore the t-shirt. So I don't worry on that. You worry about if you bring a few kids in who even though there's no crowd in there, it's still Liverpool that could get on them. But we've got a big enough squad there to put out a great team with international players. And just going on about that FA Cup match you was on about, I'll tell you a little story about that. I was sat in the crowd. I've got Eric to score the first goal, 50 quid, United to win 3-0. And then Mr. Mckola pops up in the last minute, makes it 4-0. I'm sat there with my head in my hands. And these United fans in front of me think I'm a Chelsea fan. I want to rip my head off. Oh, it was funny. But me, you know what I mean? The FA Cup. But for me, Adam, I know what you're saying. The younger generation don't get on it because if you look at the FA Cup was always a Saturday 3 o'clock. The build-up started at 10. Even if your team went in the final, you'd watch it on the TV.
You'd watch all the buses driving in from
the celebrity fans coming in. And now it's 5:30 on a Saturday and it's sponsored by this, it's sponsored by that. And it's took a bit to love it. And then obviously people will get on the fact that when United dropped out to go to Brazil, they valued the cup, but didn't really read that the FA gave them a load of pressure to open with their World Cup bid. We never got any of that. But, for me, it's still an FA Cup. It's still the best cup competition in the world. You ask these foreign players coming into the country, they all remember the FA Cup. And it's against Liverpool, so we want to win.
Yeah, defo. And I think I think sorry, man, there's so many televised games at the moment that the FA Cup, because it used to be one of the only games that you'd get, the full coverage on television. And like you said, watching it as a neutral was always important, but obviously you lose that a little bit now. But for me, it's still massively important. And if you think of obviously we talked about how 17 games unbeaten on the road, best since 99. If you think about that 99 season, obviously we were an incredible side, but our luck that season, the little bit of luck and the little bit of thing that we had started in the FA Cup against Liverpool, really, didn't it? When we turned it around, Mickey Owen scored after 3 minutes, and then United turned it around late on. So the momentum that you can build from getting a good win over Liverpool in the Cup could be massive as well.
Of course, you don't know how strong they're going to go. Obviously, they play tonight. He seems to be leaving a shot. But if you look at the game they played against Villa, they went strong. They had a few kids in, but at the right places, they put the right players in, And it's Liverpool. It's like saying if Manchester United played Liverpool tonight at a game of chess, there'd be millions and millions of people watching. It's the biggest clubs in England, in Britain, so it's a massive game. And then, when they did the draw the other week, I was sat there thinking, we'll get Liverpool in. I think it said to someone in the daylight, we'll get Liverpool home, but there's no fans going to be allowed in. And we all oh, yeah. Out. And then we spoke back about that 99 game. I'll always remember being in the South Stand for that game. And like you saw, Liverpool were 1-0 up. It was going in towards injury time. Yorkie gets us back into it from the Coley header. And then the next thing within a minute, Yapper to Scholes. Gary flicks it over. And Ollie Scholes, he's put it into Wally and he's put it in the back of the net. And the crowd that day, mate. I'm on the Paddy Credden being in the directors, but absolutely losing the plot. You know what I mean?
It was incredible.
It was a great day, and like saying, we had the luck, and that bit of luck helped us in that season. People can speak about the final against Bayern Munich, at the bar. It was just destiny that we won the treble. But you're right, that Liverpool game, was it 2 goals in the last 4 minutes? Absolute great stuff. I'll take that Sunday.
Yeah, it might not be the first game that season where we come from behind, but it was the first one where you went, oh, these that I got something, and then they kept that up all through the season, and hopefully we can have the same kind of thing against Liverpool on the weekend. What's your prediction for that game, Webb?
You know me, I like my 3-1s, Adam. I'll go 2-1 United, but we don't want extra time.
Have you heard about this whole thing 21 is coming, Webb?
Yes, I've been watching it on Twitter with the 21s coming. Hey, I hope you're right. It'll be absolutely superb.
Oh man, hopefully it will be coming. Webby will be doing this every so often, so
Adam, it's always
we can do it in person. We got a bar now,
Oh, well, you better not invite me then.
No, we will be as soon as we can do these things in person. We'll get you in, but we'll continue doing these online. And just yet, thank you for joining us again. Obviously, I've missed you so much, man. And keep up the work on Webby and O'Neill, because I'm enjoying that as well.
Yeah, good,
just let the people know again where they can find you guys, and what you're up to.
Yeah, just follow us on Twitter at Webby and O'Neill, and obviously on YouTube. We had some great interviews since we started it in June. Me and Tony. You know, it was just to basically just get us through this lockdown, mate, because it was hard. It was two United fans with nearly 100 years experience. That's how old me and Tony are. You know, our experience of going to different parts of the world with each other. And obviously everybody knows Tony. And like you're saying, we've done some great interviews on there with some big United people, Gary, Paul, Phil, Ryan, you know, and other people. And it's been great. And we're enjoying the ride, mate. And long may it continue with the team being top of the pops as well.
Yeah, and the quality of the work over there is amazing. And I know obviously the interviews with former players are great, and they are great. Go and check them out. But also just listening to Webby and Tony chat as well is great. So go and check all those videos out, guys. Subscribe to their channel as well, please. Can we at least get 1,000 new subs off this video? Get hitting that subscribe button.
There you go.
Finally, he said it.
Yeah, colossal, mate. Adam, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. You know that. You know we both love the club. You know, and at the moment we're on a good ride. And I say to Reds, enjoy the ride. There'll be some bumpy days. There'll be some great days. Let's get behind Ollie and let's see where it takes us, mate.
Most definitely. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you later.
Take care, boss.